Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles for a few rupees more. I am Articulate T, the storyteller. With me, as always, for this Pathfinder 2nd Edition Zelda campaign, I have Crestnever playing Alicia.
Greetings.
I have Alvarance playing Anda.
Hello.
I have Rubber Pirate playing Melody.
I just kept adding a few rupees more each time you say it. I don't think you'd ever notice.
Just 2 or 3 every time.
Wait, what?
to our money.
Oh, I see. Fair enough. And I also have Daddy Cat playing Makoto.
Hello.
I will become rich by cheating God.
We'll see how that works.
So, friends, what happened last time?
I don't know, you tell
In
me.
character or out of character?
I don't know, you tell me.
Out of character, let's say.
Okay. Dang, that ruins the bit, but okay.
Yeah.
So, we started last session with Makoto and Anda going on an investigation, traipsing through Hyrule Castle Town in the middle of the night on the, for a cat, apparently, since he decides to be really loud right now, on the pathway of a errant nighttime magic pigeon, maybe? I don't know. Eventually making their way over to a fountain of some old heroes. As in heroes long ago, not like old dude heroes. And there they found some of notes for... I had her name, and then I lost her name.
Millie?
Millie, that's it. Yep, I was like M, and every time I thought of M, it's just Melody. It's like, no, that's not it. Melody's the party member.
Melody's written on the screen right
We'll
now.
mess with time.
Yes, which would be Millie, whose focus, if I recall correctly, is the planar studies compared to Charles's time magic. Shortly after dealing with that, we cut over to the other two members of the party, who did a little bit of exploring in the Kane family gardens, and then had a heart-to-heart with some of their family. Afterwards, Anda and Makoto came back and debriefed the rest of the party on what they found, having some men then go forward to help some of the notes that were recovered and were damaged. After getting an early start and having some breakfast, they decided to go see Charles, which is easy enough given that it is the weekend, thankfully, and not many people are at classes, except for the teachers who, always work. And after informing Charles about what happened, seemed to alleviate some of the tension that was holding him up. And we decided to go to the little study room that he had been using with Millie to hold on to some of their instruments and other notes. As they made it there, Reuben, the jerk who decides to work at the library for who knows what reason, acted a little bit odd in thinking that Charles had already been there. Instantly hitting the alarm bells, Makoto ran upstairs to see somebody trying to burst out of the window. And so the chase began. And then we followed this mysterious figure over to a fountain near that, to the university. Completely separate fountain, don't worry about it. And as we reached over to the to the fountain, a rod flew from the intruders' hands as they were forcibly stopped by the likes of Makoto and Melody. And then a weird multi-armed time being showed up. Got the
Big purple
guy.
time robot.
Oh yes, the time knife. We've all seen it.
Time cop.
And then took the guy and vanished. And everyone thinks that something's a little bit fishy, but they're not entirely can't really put their finger on it. Except for Anda, who thinks that everything's perfectly fine as they get Basra, the Zora, and begin heading back towards the library. Basra being the person in place of the wayward, probably time-traveling thief. But Melody has this strange rod as Anda has picked up the unconscious Zora and is moving back to the campus. I believe that is where we left off.
Yeah. So,
I shall keep my hero point today.
oh,
Oh my god.
yes. Fine. But yes, we rejoin our party as they are escorting the still heavily concussed Basra Ice Hollow. A Zora who is, let's see if I remember correctly which type of Zora. I believe is Lake Zora.
Yeah.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah, he was.
Escorting them, or more carrying them, I suppose, back to the university. Though it is, as said, it is odd. Something doesn't feel right about this entire situation. Not the least of which, the rod that is currently in the possession of Melody. This roughly foot-long metal item that interesting. It has this odd coloration to it, kind of this bluish hue that is, to look at it and to feel its presence there, it feels like it's there and also not there. It's odd.
Is it actually a foot long? Because if it isn't, we can sue.
No, that's only if it's advertised as a foot long.
Oh, right. I apologize. Yeah, that's the thing.
Is that also before or after baking?
Good question. I believe just upon delivery.
Oh no, they don't deliver. Anywho, I will address my question later. I think right now we're just going to Anna's like, all right, so how does the rest of the party look? Like, are they chewing over something? Is it kind of like thinking about things, or?
Alicia is clearly deep in thought.
Renji is probably
Makoto-
chewing something.
Makoto is pacing back and forth.
I think how Renji is reacting is entirely up to the GM in this instance.
Renji's got stats, right? You can probably make
What's
make a
Renji's
check
will
for.
save?
Yeah.
Will save, I believe, is it's a +9, like mine.
Okay. Yeah, with a 15 plus 9 is 24. They probably are of a similar sentiment. Something's they much like yourselves are aware of the supposed correct events as Anda remembers it correctly, but something about this whole situation seems out of place.
They'll keep it in their thoughts, but if probably at a certain point, Lisha is definitely going to try and commune with the bargainer for a bit, just to ease their own thoughts. If people talk about it before then, they'll of course talk about it, but it's not something that they're bringing up immediately because they think they might not be taken seriously.
as you're contemplating this, and as you're kind of like more or less dragging Basra back to the university, a pair of runners followed by 3 guards run up to you guys and say, hi, someone said thief?
Yeah, this guy.
You kind of
He's just stepping away to not be perceived too much by the guards.
Yeah, I'll step forward and basically take over here.
Yeah, the guards will they'll move over and gently take the still barely conscious man in arm. They'll go through the process of like putting them in manacles. Just in the.
I explain all the stuff that was been happening.
They in addition to that, they do place a they place like a soft cloth around their mouth to gag them, because as far as they're aware, they're a spellcaster, and depriving them of the ability to speak deprives them of their ability to cast spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
Makes sense.
But yeah, they'll after they've done that, they'll kind of take a bit of a nod. The two of them will carry the fellow away, while a third will listen to your statement, write things down. Thank you for your time, and unless there's anything specific you wanted to add to anything that you tell them, they'll move on.
No, just what we know.
Yeah.
Did we want to question him here, or did you guys want to take care of that on your own?
I think these guys might be better at interrogating.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna, and I just kind of wave my hand, glowing energy, maybe help the concussion.
We have various Karujans available to take care of this one in particular. But yeah, if we need anything else, we'll be sure to come and ask questions to the right folks. In the meantime, have yourselves a good day. Thank you for your service. And we'll
Likewise.
bow his head.
We got nods. And as soon as they leave, goes back to pacing again.
Yeah. The guards will leave separately from the runners, the blue coats, who will like double check to make sure all of you are all right. And afterwards we'll then head into the university campus in order to kind of like do sort of a situational sort of
Gather eyewitnesses.
yeah.
Could I? This is technically aimed at the party. Could I do a diplomacy check to see like how the others are feeling? If it's just something that Alicia noticed, or if it's clear the others are dealing with some curious thoughts of their own.
If it's
That's more like a sense motive to me than
if it's you actively asking a question of them, then I would say role play it out. If it's you kind of like assessing how people feel without them knowing, that would be a sense motive, which is a secret roll. So I would need your perception modifier, and but then it also depends on whether or not any of your other party members are being attempting to hide their temperament about the situation.
Understood. Yeah, sense motive perception would be +7.
Okay.
I think Makoto would be, because that's his default response.
Right.
Is to hide what's going on.
She's staring at the strange rod.
Hide what's going on until I know what's going on.
Okay. What's your? If that's the case, Makoto, what is your deception DC?
My deception DC is 16.
Okay. So yeah, Alicia would barely be capable of maybe gleaning something from Makoto.
Okay.
Like something's up, you just don't know what.
Yeah, I think that combined with Leisha's something's up, but I don't know what, is enough to trigger, like, okay, I'm going to be talking about this later. what about Anda and Melody?
Well, Melody seems to be completely fixated upon the rod that's in their hands. You all see it too. It's just, and you all kind of get the odd idea as to, like, it also seems thoroughly out of place. Anda, meanwhile, seems if they're perturbed,
Nonplussed, everything looks fine.
yeah. If there's anything they're perturbed about, it might be they're perturbed about the temperament of their companions. Like I don't know what you guys what's wrong with everybody here. I think like I have a clear memory of the events. Everything seems to be perfectly in order. What's up? Sort of kind of like yeah. Confused at people's confusion, I guess. If there is
fair.
anything.
Okay. With that, I'm going to be checking in with Melody, kind of stepping closer and it's like, so what have you got there?
I don't know. I also don't remember how I got it.
Did you pick it up somewhere?
Not sure. I remember getting in front of him to, stop him with the horse and everything. And then I was holding this.
Would an occultism check here do something?
Can you figure out what it is?
Occult or Arcana or religion or even nature. Feel free to utilize any of those checks.
I mean, whatever.
Which of those do I have?
Definitely occultism for me.
I will pick religion because I think that's the only one I have that no one else does.
I also
Very
have
fair.
one. I also have one, and none of the others. So,
I
Sounds
technically
like
have 2.
I also have 2. That's an 18.
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a
Tell me
club.
your secrets, Rod.
Let's see what we've got here. Okay. With your combined rolls, nature of the rod eludes you.
oh,
It's clearly magical, but that's as far as much as you know.
right. Curious.
Very much so. Though we do have a bunch of nerds here.
True.
but
Alright.
you ask around there. I'm gonna go check something out.
Something?
You want one of us to accompany you, or?
I think it's better if you don't.
Alright.
Lisha frowns.
I'm gonna see that front and say, Renji can come.
Sure. I'll have Renji walk across my shoulder, down my arm,
I'll
and
hold hand out to catch him.
he jumps nimbly.
And then he can sit wherever he wants.
He's going to find a very comfy spot right under your chin in your shawl.
In the scarf, yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too long. And I'm going to head to one of the town's Sheikah stones.
Oh.
Okay. You're gonna head to a Sheikah Stone. Where's everybody else heading?
I'm heading to Charles.
Okay.
See how
I'm
he feels
following
about all
Anda.
those stuff.
Yeah, seems like a good idea.
Everybody else
You
is
could let-
heading to Charles. Okay.
We can tell him we finally caught the guy. And he's going to prison.
Well, certainly first jail.
Mhm.
All right. So we will start with our trio heading towards Charles. Finding Charles is incredibly easy. You do it within seconds. After all, he hasn't left the library when you departed from there beforehand, and the chase wasn't exactly long. You kind of head in, and there is a quiet murmur of discussion, louder than the library should be, as people discuss what's going on, and you can see the blue coats are moving between people asking questions. Charles is currently posted up next to the stairs up to the upper level of the library. You see Ruben, who's like sitting like at the front desk as always. He kind of gives you a bit of a glance as you head in, not like an aggressive one, more of a sort of like noticing that A, you're missing somebody, and B, you were the ones who gave chase beforehand, so he's kind of like wondering exactly what's happened. But as you enter in, you see Charles, and Charles sees you, and he stands there and goes, what happened? How did it go?
Well, all things considered,
We caught them. Guards have taken them away.
Oh,
It was the Zora whose name was
Basra.
Basra.
Basra. He seems like genuinely surprised by that, as does Ruben. He, like, him being in close proximity, can't help but overhear. And he kind of like thinks over and says, Ruben like pipes up the conversations. I suppose it would make some level of sense that he would get past me looking like you. He is a student of illusion.
May I? So it's only the space when we reached that corner that's a blank, yes?
When he dropped the rod.
Yeah.
Which was when I think I called it to him on the corner.
Wind
Melody did the
tunneled
wind
him.
thing. Yeah.
I don't wanna. I'm not throwing around accusations. Last night we found a feather of somebody, of like a pigeon. I don't know. We knew that it was somebody that was kind of magically transformed or magically controlling the pigeon or something like that. Do you know? This is to Ruben and Charles, but more towards Ruben as he's kind of interjected himself into the conversation. Do you know anyone who works with such birds that might be working with things? Might still have somebody out there that's looking for some of this stuff.
Pigeons specifically? Like, he kind of leans an elbow on the table and he genuinely puts thought into it and thinks, off the top of my head, by name, no. I don't know anybody who specifically works with pigeons, but I suppose in terms of familiars or commanded beasts or anything of that variety, pigeons are so commonplace around here, they're a good basis for practice in that sense.
Sense motive, please. It says
Sure.
8.
You can't quite get a read. You think he's like being genuine, like there is an aspect of disinterest as he kind of like thinks about it, but nothing, like you don't think he's hiding anything. He's just kind of like genuinely like sat there for a little bit and thought about anybody who was in the university who might have any connection to using pigeons in a capacity, and has drawn a blank.
Okay. Now Anda seems perturbed, but for a completely
Not
different
necessarily
reason.
and birds, but animals in general?
I suppose there might be some. Not any who are... I wouldn't say anybody who is of Basra's level, though. If that makes sense. I suppose it could be someone that he's put up to the task.
Disregard Basra just for the moment. Any, like... Consider this is not the end of the investigation. There might be someone helping Basra, or, though it's less probable, there might be two individuals, or more individuals, caught up in this.
Possibly. I'm more shocked at this point in time that perhaps the rumors about Charles here being stalked, as it were, had some actual substance to them. He shrugs a little bit, but
Seems like they had a lot of substance to them.
oh, so at this point in time. That's not to say that I don't think that this is a serious matter. It is. I'm feeling. Now he
Feeling
seems
like
to.
something doesn't add up?
Oh, more just wondering about the level of work that needs to be done in order to rectify this. After all, yes, while the number of students going for the higher level degree in the arcane arts thing can be counted on a single hand, with one additional finger from the sounds of the situation, but the number of students in general for magical studies in their own way is quite high. Hundreds of students, no less. That would be quite the list to go through, and there are a lot of them who will possibly want to focus on changing into animals, summoning animals, controlling animals, or speaking to animals, even at the basic level. That's a lot of students. That's mostly because that is part of not necessarily entry-level magic, but the next step up. You'll be interviewing students all week.
Do you know anyone with a particular interest in Millie's studies?
He kind of thinks. His eyes fall to Charles, and then, well, other than the one who's helping her, no.
Cool. Because, right, yeah, there's a lot of you guys that are after this program, but it does feel weird that, you know, kind of look over Charles, your stuff was the one that was kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? An afterthought, for lack of a better term, compared to hers.
Charles kind of thinks a moment and says, well, I suppose maybe because after all I was helping her, and Ruben at that point just kind of pipes in and says, come on, Charles. I may not be your biggest fan, so to speak, but let's just say what it is. You were doing most of the work. And Charles just kind of frowns a bit, scratches the back of his head, and says, I suppose maybe, I don't know, maybe interplanar contact or viewing or something is more immediately valuable? He shrugs. And Ruben rolls his eyes and says, from the sounds of it then, perhaps the target is not necessarily Charles, but Millie, and if that's the case, maybe it's a matter of seeing if there's anybody who would target Millie directly, but, well, then again, I have barely any contact with her, so I wouldn't know, and how about you? Would you know anything about this, Charles? Anybody who is particularly aggressive towards Millie in any way, shape, or form? Charles kind of thinks again, shakes his head, and says, I'm not sure. Odd.
Quite odd.
I think Onda kind of takes what Ruben has to say in heart, or at face value at this particular moment, and then kind of leaving things open for other people. It's kind of like the aspect of pooing over what's said, because it's strange that, as Charles says, it's more intermediate or more immediately valuable, but why were her notes destroyed? But Nanda's gonna chew over that for a little while. So. Oh, while we got you both here, you kind of gesture towards the rod that Melody's holding. There's no what this might be.
Kind of pause and look over it. Both of them like focus a fair bit, and then both seem equally confused. That is an interesting item you have there, says Ruben.
Do you know what it is?
Not a clue. In fact, I don't think I've seen that material or that level of magic before. There's like, you see his eyes like flash a bit as he does a brief detect magic ping. There's a wide variety of different interconnected spells. It feels like they're all purposefully put there in an ever-moving cascade. That is of a level that is far beyond me, at the very least. Charles looks it over and kind of nods and says, yes, much more potent than I could ever think of. You could try one of the professors at the university, but I don't know whether or not they'd be able to figure it out either.
I was just about to ask, you want to go see your parents?
Well, got 2 professors to try then.
Neat trick, though. I wish I could pick up on that with what I've got. Pretty much, I can sense it's magical, but that's it.
Well, practice and refinement is all that is needed. In any case, is there anything else you would ask of me or Charles or anyone else here?
I think that's about all I got for the moment.
Do you have any... mostly for our investigation, but do you have any plans on leaving the town anytime soon?
Thesis, yes. No, I've got a thesis to work on.
Good. Just in case we have more questions.
Very
I can't tell you not to leave town, because we're not official. But if you leave town, that'll give us quite a headache, and it'll cause you quite a headache in the future.
Sure. Honda's head is in his hand.
Right.
So I'm not threatening anything.
No,
I'm
you're
merely
This is about
promising-
this is about the time where someone should end the conversation.
Lisha, we've talked.
No, this is quite fun to watch.
We talked about this.
He just
we
managed
talked about
to
this last night.
He just managed to dislodge the stick from his ass. Don't put it back in there.
Well,
We got
all
him
right.
talking. We got him
You
talking.
can only do that with consent.
Especially because the only stick we have right now is the magic rod. All right, let's go.
That would have an interesting
That's
effect,
pretty
I'm sure.
big.
Well, they only said length. He didn't say how
I
wide.
said, let's go.
And so
I
we
just
leave the
imagine, like, takes both of them
conversations.
up by the scruff like they're cats and just moves them out of the building.
Following Twitch and YouTube's terms of services yet another day.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
At the doors,
dear.
kind of a brief pause. Don't know if you want to tell Millie, if you want to accompany us, but you're more than welcome to, Charles. And then I continue walking.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave you to it. I've got things to make sure of as well. I'll go speak to Millie. Thank you again. Oh, actually, before you go, he'll follow you out the building very briefly. He like reaches into a pocket and pulls out a hefty pouch. There's I suppose the job is completed. Well, would you say it's completed? Are you still investigating? Do you want me to hold off?
I think we'll stay here at least one more day, so tell us you feel that you're still being followed, maybe?
Very well. Then I shall pay you tomorrow when everything is squared.
All right then.
I'll let you head on out.
As we leave, having heard from Anda and Melody that we're going to be staying here at least a day, and that they've not given indication that this job is done yet, Alicia will a little hesitantly, but tentatively say, "So, do you both also feel that something's off?"
Yes.
Illusion. We looked at the feather. We studied it. The illusions didn't necessarily give an answer there. I think that there's somebody else.
Yes, and what happened with apprehending Basra?
I give the recall of the events as the memories present themselves, with no change in emotion or screwing up of the face.
Uh-huh. And I look over at Melody.
I feel it got a bit weird when he stopped.
Yes, I had that indication as well. I think Renji felt the same way. Well, can't ask him now, since, but... We'll definitely talk about that next, when Makoto's here as well, I think. Because something doesn't add up. No offense to you, Anda. Like, I remember the things that you discussed as well, but something else has
If you
happened.
guys picked up on something that I haven't, I trust you so far, so got no reason not to.
So, as you make your way to find one or both of Melody's parents, we switch perspectives and we rejoin Makoto as they wander through the streets of Castletown, heading southwards towards more of the religious district where many of the temples are gathered around. Hidden away in a small garden, barely able to receive any sunlight for the single tree that sits in this small patch of grass. Next to it appears to be a small stone statue, one that looks like a frog almost, sitting about a foot off the ground, with a little chic eye painted upon its belly. This it would be a gossip stone, one of many that sits throughout the entirety of Hyrule Castle town, as well as the country as a whole. Ways to receive and store information, as well as communicate with other members of the network. Thankfully, in this instance, in this quiet area of the city, Makoto and Renji find themselves alone.
So do I know any of the Sheikah who work in the castle? Do I know of them, at least? Names?
You know of one.
Hmm.
The royal, or I suppose like the what would effectively used to be the royal bodyguard
Hmm.
and butler slash handmaid, Syrah. They're a middle-aged chica with square features, go by they them pronouns, and is largely like they're more diplomatic and open compared to most who have ever held the position. A lot of other previous
Oh,
Sheikah who have held the position of being the direct
what was the
bodyguard of
name again? Sorry,
Syrah. Um,
Sierra.
yeah,
Okay. Well, knock on the stone.
there's a after
I
the
have
last knock, there's this hollow ring that goes out through your mind.
I have a message for Sierra. My name is Makoto Nanami, and my group and I have found. I'm saying this in Chica, by the way. Um, my group and I have found a mysterious artifact none of us can identify, which may or may not have had an effect on our minds. End message.
After a few seconds, the response comes back, and they say, "Makoto Nanami, this is Syrah. Um, that is alarming. Hold tight. I will be with you shortly."
I will find something to
Important,
lean against.
As
important
you've
question.
been, oh,
Because it's
Valorant's
in
go
the
first.
shape of a frog,
Hmm.
does the frog's mouth move as it talks?
No, but the eyes glow faintly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Also, Makoto would have noticed that as he was walking around,
Hmm.
Renji has been like fidgeting a little bit and trying to get in a comfortable position, and then every few seconds almost going, well, no, something else, something else, something else.
Hmm.
As Makoto started speaking in Shika, Renji's gone entirely still.
I'll try and adjust my scarf to let him get more comfortable while I'm standing and waiting.
Just a little bit of fidgeting, and then silence and stillness again.
About 30 minutes pass before within the larger open space of this little area, there is as a smoke bomb goes off and dissipates quickly to reveal a a fairly tall, more muscular than usual Sheikah, wearing the standard sort of practical lightweight armor, with signature short weapons. Their white hair, long, is tied back into 3 separate braided ponytails. And they stand to attention, hands behind back, and say, "What is this artifact that you found?"
The rod about this big makes everyone's brain feel weird looking at it, and none of us can identify what it does.
Hmm.
Metal, but not any kind of metal that I recognize. We found it when someone was performing a theft at the university. We chased them to a fountain. But when we caught up to them, something happened. I know more happened after that, but for some reason, all I remember happening is that we knocked him out, and that was it. And then after that moment, suddenly, one of my companions had the rod in their hands.
Hmm. They'll think about it. They kind of like they move a hand in front of them in order to draw. Like they don't use any magic, but they draw kind of a vague shape in the air. They say, "Did it look like? Did it have like a scepter head at the end that opened up like this?" Which it didn't. It was like a single uniform shape.
It was a featureless metal rod.
Mm.
I think maybe a certain former princess might want to look at it.
Sierra grimaces slightly and says, "Well, while the Archmage will probably have a decent idea as to what it does, if you need any kind of expediency that's going to take a bit, their schedule's been booked up so much they won't be free for another month."
Wow. Okay.
Mm. Well, I don't suppose you might.
If you'd like to take a look at it to see how strange it is, we're at the university.
Oh. For the sake of security, I suppose that would be a good idea.
All right. Are you gonna walk with me or sneak around like
I'll walk with you.
we're supposed to? Okay.
Has this entire conversation been in Sheikah?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I will switch to Hylian at this point and go, okay, let's go then.
Yeah. So you and Sarah head back. I will say for the sake of convenience, you all meet up at relatively the same time. Probably back into the. Where would Melody take the rod? Would they take it to her mother first or her father?
Father.
So you all meet up at relatively the same time at the research offices. The rest of you see Sierra, the Sheikah bodyguard to Zelda and her family.
There's so is this like this is a notable person, no need for a society role, then I presume.
This would be if you have the barest idea as to things that happen within Hyrule Castletown, you probably would be aware of like them. They like some certain details may escape you, but you know who Sierra is at the very least.
Hmm.
So then it's just looking at Sierra, looking at Makoto, looking back at Sierra, and then just looking over to that just like a long type of whistle thing, like damn. Okay.
Just for politeness, I will go, Sarah. This is Aunt Alicia and Melody, the rest of my adventuring party. Guys, this is Sarah. You may have heard of them.
Pleasure to meet you all.
Is this a relative of yours?
We kind of, sort of worked together, I guess.
Okay.
Nice
Nice to meet you, Sarah.
to meet you too. They wanted to meet.
Alicia has no clue who this is. Just so you know.
They work with the Archmage.
Oh, fancy.
Mm-hmm. For the sake of security within the city and beyond, I was asked to make sure to take a look at this if possible.
Just in case.
Well, if it was Makoto's idea, I don't see why not.
Makoto
sure.
just there thinking, I would get in trouble if I didn't report this to a higher Sheikah.
Melody will produce the raw.
Do we go inside so that way like Dad and Sierra can take a look at it at the same
Yeah,
time?
why not?
All right,
good.
cool.
Yeah, you head inside and you head to Brendan's office, and as he opens the doors, "Melody, everybody, Sierra, my friend, come here," and like we'll pull them into a massive hug, and Sierra just kind of like, "Hello,
Well,
Mr.
okay.
Kane. Hello." Or Dr.
Makoto
Kane.
looks away so that no one can see that they're barely holding back the giggles.
I want to know if Alicia notices.
Yeah, sure, why
Kind of
not?
sidle in front of Makoto for a minute, so Makoto has an easier time hiding it.
Also, just put my hand on Leisha's shoulder so that Reggie can make his way back.
Renji scurries over. It's like, they were speaking some weird language.
Yeah, it's called Shriek It.
Curious.
So come in, and I'll guide you all into this office space. And I'll say, so what brings such esteemed customers? Company. That's the word. That is the word. I've been writing papers all morning. What brings such esteemed company into my office today?
Strange magic rod.
Oh, you don't
Yeah,
say.
I will fill him in on what happened.
Oh, like as you kind of like go over the story and the details, as you bring up like the student in question.
Just Warrior of Light style, wave my arms, scream face to
Yeah.
black, fades back in.
Like the expression
Do
on Brendan
you
kind
just
of.
do you mention the memories feel weird to you too?
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, so you do.
Honda squints.
Yeah.
Not at Makoto, just in general.
Yeah. As you kind of bring it up, like it fades back in, and Brendan's expression has been one of like excitement to a bit crestfallen, and he goes, "'Tis a shame that. And this magical rod, you say?" And we'll look over it.
Yeah.
He'll like wave a hand a bit and like do his own detect magic, quick identify sort of thing, and then after a moment, he too just kind of tilts his head to the side and says, "Well, it is intricately crafted, but I have very little idea as to its actual composition. Very strange. The best I can gather is that it is meant to provide some kind of camouflage of a sort. There's something in it that's preventing both mundane and magical forms of detection. It's why it's so hard to look at.
Hmm.
I have no idea what it could be." And he'll like look up to Sarah, and Sarah kind of shrugs and says, "Well, I have no doubt that Archmage Zelda would be capable of having a look. She's not going to be available to take care of anything, even of this level, for a very long time." And Brendan just goes, "Oh. We're not out of options, though. I don't suppose you're familiar with the tower just east out of Castletown?" Sarah raises a brow and says, "Yes." And Brendan will look to the rest of you and is like, "Are any of you familiar with the tower outside of the east of Castletown?"
You ever
I've
take me there?
traveled past it.
Yeah, I think we rode past it coming into town.
That is owned by a particular wizard, I should say, by the name of Infaustum. Reclusive as he is, even with his close proximity to the capital, as much as he is not an officially accredited mage, it is hard to deny that he knows his stuff. Not insignificant number of students, when stuck on their studies, will occasionally try to entreat Infaustum for some extra guidance. Most of the time they come back empty-handed, but if you're looking for an expedient answer, you could always try him.
Any tips
Yeah, why
on
not?
any tips on how to persuade him?
Brendan grimaces a bit. Says, bribery, I think, has long since lost its luster with the fellow. I would honestly suggest that the best thing that you can possibly do would just be open and honest with him. Who knows, perhaps presenting him with this specific challenge might entice him in order to take a look at it. A number of the students who have gone to speak to him, Faustum, and come back with nothing have said that they bored him.
All right.
Would you spell that for us, Artie?
Infaustum. Infaustum.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lead.
I believe this is what they call a fetch quest.
No. We're delivering.
Sorry, an
something. The
escort
fetch-
quest.
Yes.
Closer to that, yeah.
Delivery class. I'll look to Zero and say, we'll let you know if it's something that needs to be contained or something.
Much appreciated, and thank you for letting me know regardless.
Mhm.
Quite a potent magical item, and knowing of its existence is probably for the best.
All right. It's still early in the morning, so head over there and right now
Yeah.
try to
You
get
got
this done.
plenty of time. Okay. Well, then let's head out.
Okay. As you head out.
Do we
Hmm?
go back to the university before or after? I don't know how long this will take.
We're at
We're
the university
still
right
at the
now.
university.
I mean, go back to Charles.
See much of a
Well-
reason for us to go to Charles right now, unless you had something in mind.
We do have to get the payment eventually, but this tower's not too far away. Can we go there and back in the day?
Yeah, you'll get back by nighttime at the very least, given the distance it is to the tower.
I see. I'm sorry, my memory is a bit hazy.
Is that right?
That's all right. Yeah, we can.
Besides-
If we head out now, we'll be back in plenty of time.
Besides, haven't finished the job yet, so gotta figure out what this is, so.
That's very true.
So let's go.
So,
Sierra, you can join us for dinner. I'm sure my mum will be happy to see you again.
Zira kind of like tilts her head to the side and smiles and says, as much as that would be quite nice, I do have work to attend to, and this was, unless I've scheduled time off and can get an understudy to watch the castle, I sadly don't have the time to. Maybe sometime in the future, though. It has been a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and Sarah will kind of nod politely and will say their farewells to Brendan. And as you all head outside, as you all kind of like turn to look at the rest of your party to see, like, basically the moment all of you collectively take your eyes off of him, he's off of them, they're gone.
Hmm.
It kind of just grins and like, I wish I could do
Crafty fellow, aren't they?
that." Yeah. It's,
Melody, how often did they take a rain check on him being invited over? A workaholic, it seems. Just talk
I think
about
it's
the sheep.
less a workaholic and more they are required to work a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All right.
he said that he could take, or they said that they could take a time off. You just gotta schedule it, you know. And just start shit talking the Sheikah on the way to the tower.
It's like, yeah, I know. It's
That
a
particular one, not
lot
the
of
Sheikah
people
in
from
general.
my hometown just have this
Does-
thing where they got to be working all the time.
All they
Does
have to
Makoto
do is
glance at
schedule.
every gossip stone we pass?
No,
They have to schedule their dinners off a week in advance.
let them just eat on the job.
Alright.
Why do you think I'm adventuring?
To try new and exciting foods.
To have time to do things that I want to do.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Would it be faster if we took the cart there, out of curiosity?
probably a little bit faster. Yeah.
I was gonna do that.
If you go by foot, you'll get back just as just after sunset. Taking the cart, you'll get back like a good distance before it.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
parked the cart at the south gate, so it's one of the closer ones.
Hmm.
Go and fetch the cart.
Fetch quest.
You know,
I told you.
Yeah.
And
You
then
go and fetch the
we
cart.
drive.
Yeah. You go and fetch the cart. It's a fairly easy thing to do. And before long, you are heading east out of Hyrule Castle town and along the road, in order to make your way to.
It's piano music.
Yeah, you follow the road out to the east in order to make your way to Infaustum's tower. It being about late morning, early midday, the traffic outside of town and along the road is fairly significant. Most people seem to be heading southwards, likely towards Dawnshore, or making the long treks that would take them northwards to Rito Peak, or through the footpaths that go through the mountain ranges of Hebra and northern Nehru, either to get to Zora's domain or to make their way to somewhere in Akala. But as time passes, what are y'all doing on the road?
I think I'll stick to keeping an eye out for danger. I also would like to check the weather for tomorrow.
Okay.
I believe that was a survival check.
Yeah.
Well, that is a natural 20 for 27.
Sound effects.
Yeah, I should change that on, because it should be more positive on a 20.
Whoosh.
Okay. Yeah.
So on a DC 20, that would be normally a DC 20 or a DC 15 if I have a commanding view of the region.
Okay.
You probably
mean,
do on the cart.
It's a critical success either way. So through your understanding, you can tell that honestly, much of the weather as it is right now probably won't be any different compared to tomorrow. The wind will blow likely from the southeast as opposed to directly from the south. It'll get a little cooler. And but the light mist of precipitation that seems to be occurring in the few clouds overhead is probably going to be the norm for tomorrow.
And today it's raining, right?
Yeah, there's
Or
like
there's a
at most there is a drizzle, so it's yeah.
All right. Well, it's not going to be much different tomorrow, so travel will be. It'll be all right, albeit a little damp.
Yeah, damp's fine.
Do you grow moss?
No. You've seen the mossy Gorons. We interacted with one back in Rigadistad.
Yes, I was just curious if it was more of a situation where, like, humans, depending on growth, they shave. And I was curious if that was the case with you.
Not with me in particular, no. Anything like that comes up on ones that are more like me tend to be more mineralistic in nature, opposed to mossy.
And there are also some Hylians that grow more hair than others.
Correct. I believe I said that.
Oh, it's fun.
But I take your meaning.
If we're just kind of chatting casually, I want to do. I think it's technically like the It might be like the search or seek or yeah, search. I'm gonna look for more bugs.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yes, find bugs. I
My
believe there's
perception.
I believe there's a different system for this actually.
Let's see.
Mm,
Wow. Gonna bring things up.
The bugs,
Wow.
because my character is the bug finder in the other group.
Let's see. So, must select a DC of trained, expert, or master, nature or survival.
I have nature trained. Nope, not double slash, just a single slash. Nature is this many. Oh, it's only a 16.
Okay. So
Want to make it fabulous?
No, we're going to interact with a wizard who seems to be persnickety, and shall save it for charisma checks.
Hmm.
you find you do manage to find a beetle. It is a standard looking beetle, about a quarter of an inch long, with a slender black shell that has a green stripe running out down the back of it.
Does not look like the rhinoceros beetle I have already found, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Create custom gear. You said it was a. Where's the description thing on here? A black beetle with a green stripe.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, my other character being the bug finder in the other game is why my other character has a plus 18 in survival.
What level are you?
In that game, 8.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as you continue your journey, after a few hours, you do see just over in the distance, just beyond the road, standing atop a hill, appears to be a single spire, a fairly uniform-looking stone tower with a kind of a pointed roof that sits on top of it, almost like a stereotypical wizard's hat. As you get closer, you can see the age and wear and tear that exists within this tower. Some of the brickwork seems to be overtaken by ivy, or rounded by the blowing winds nearby. It doesn't take you too much longer to diverge off the path and make your way up the side of the hill until you are face to face with a door, a large, sturdy wooden door with a heavy knocker sitting in the middle of it.
Excellent. I knock upon the door.
Okay. At which point, after a few moments, there's a as things are being like pushed aside and everything. At which point,
Does it sound like things being pushed aside as like things blocking or barricading the door, or is it locks?
a combination of both.
Curious.
At which point, after a while, a door opens, and peering outside appears to be an elderly fellow with kind of a darker skin tone that's kind of an ashen sort of complexion. They have a large pronounced nose and a wild bushy beard that goes down to the middle of their chest. they peer at all of you with a kind of wary look. Say, who might you be?
In Faustin, I presume we are Phoenix Force adventuring party currently on an investigation thing. We have found a magical rod of some description that no one has been able to identify, whether that's people at the university or one of the Sheikah at the what's Sarah's position? I'm kind of turned to Makoto.
Bodyguard, mostly.
Bodyguard to the Archmage.
The fellow, presumably in Faustin, raises an eyebrow. There's a right, and
Like, go ahead.
You came highly recommended.
by who?
My dad.
Sarah. Oh, sorry. Yes. Her dad.
Right. He kind of just like thinks a moment and just
Gonna show him the rod.
I take it out, show it to him.
the look of incredulousness and like skepticism like begins to fade slightly as he locks eyes on the rod. He blinks a couple times, at which point he like takes a step back to open the door, says, come in.
Alright.
Thank you. I will be the last one in.
Within his tower, you see it's a fucking mess. There's things
Oh, dear.
everywhere. It's like stacks of books and other magical accoutrements just like piled high in different things in presumably an organization structure that only makes sense to him. There's
Don't
barely
worry,
enough
Faustum.
space.
I also don't want to let people in my home for the same reason.
Like there's enough space that you can see the floor and maneuver around without knocking things over, but things are piled high where you can't really see much of the walls anymore. It's dark because presumably stuff is in the way of the windows. There's stairs that lead upwards, and as you kind of move into the building and like the door closes behind you, you can kind of get the wary sort of creaks and groans of a place that is getting on in years and seems to be reaching maximum capacity quite rapidly. But like he guides you inside and on the lowest level, and there's a large circular table that dominates the center of the room. He pushes aside some like he waves a hand and a cast of magic kind of blows a bunch of the stuff off the table and magically sets it into a neat little pile next to other similarly neat but also haphazardly placed piles. With another
As
wave,
long as he knows where it is, it's fine.
yeah. With another wave, the chairs that sit around the table squeak as they are pushed back away from the table to let you sit. And he takes a seat on a table and like elbows propped immediately up, and he gestures to place the rod in the middle of the table.
Unintentionally, I take the smallest chair.
Mary will nod and carefully put the rod in the center of the table for him.
He'll stare at it, and then he'll tentatively, gently reach out to grab it, picks it up, examines it carefully.
Apparently he's a cat guy.
I got a familiar around somewhere.
And then after a while, his eyes lock onto Anda. And he says, no. You have to ask you very specifically, regardless of whatever anyone's ever told you today, How did you come about this, Rod?
Good question.
Yeah, I will regale Infaustum with the events as I remember them. And then at the end of it, I will explain. Though the rest of my compatriots here, I presume at this point I'm aware, including the little guy, seem to have some kind of memory altering effect. Which means that I presume I'm the one that fell victim to it the hardest.
We'll cover that. And then he'll move down the line to Melody and say, now, regardless of whatever he's just said, how did you come about this, Rod?
Oh, there was a thief. We chased him down. I got in front of him. Shot a gust of wind at him, and then I remember having this in my hand.
All right. Looks over to Leisha. Regardless of what those two have just said, how did you come about this, Rod?
As well, regardless of what they told you, Leisha recounts the events as best as they can, and when they mentioned that there was some confusion as to how they got like at that corner, they recall Melody standing there holding the rod in her hands.
And then we'll look to Makoto and say, you know the drill.
Yep, I remember chasing the guy down, catching up to him, Melody blasting him with the wind, then him being unconscious and her having the rod in her hand, and having me having a distinct feeling that more happened than I remember.
Right. Understood. Put the rod back in the table. I have a theory, but it'll require a little explanation of a lot of things. And I hope you'll at the very least entertain such an explanation all the way to the end before you make any decisions.
I can listen.
I think that you countered a time traveler.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Considering the guy we were working for is working on some kind of time magic project.
Oh? Well,
Apparently it's part of his thesis.
see. Well, ultimately speaking, the reason why I say this is because and I don't know whether or not this is because this is specifically not talked about in the among the followers of the god herself, but time travel is essentially the highest crime that you can commit in the eyes of the goddess of time, Chronica, at least as far as I can gather. But not necessarily explicitly traveling through time, mostly just traveling backwards through time. You can travel forward as much as you like. Your absence in the time stream, as it were, does not necessarily mean that the future events are going to be changed. It just, when you as far as I can theorize, moving forward through time means that your current time in the future now becomes your present. So you can't just go back to where you came from, because that's your past now, and moving back there and changing things, etc., etc., etc. It invites a lot of headaches, effectively.
Gives me a headache just thinking about it.
The thing is,
Yeah, it's cause more problems than it fix.
Of course, there are stories about previous heroes bouncing back and forth through time, as it were.
Yeah, but like the hero gets special permission.
not anymore. In fact, the destined trio, as it were, having such a nonchalant amount of sway over the time stream as they used to do was what caused a number of the problems. There was apparently some kind of weird part of our history where the hero of time being sent back in time in the wrong order caused a gratuitous number of different conflicting stories, all of which are now part of our history book. So Chronica must have done something to align everything. But, well, that could also be historical contradictions. The kingdom ain't exactly got the best track record when it comes to keeping hold of its history, eh?
Yeah.
The point is, typically speaking, traveling through time does not go unnoticed. Whatever Chronica has done to put the kibosh on, traveling through time has ultimately meant that the time stream is now being highly monitored. I don't know exactly how, I've never seen it, but my theory as to why over the past millennia, perhaps even more so, that traveling through time is not exactly something that has been done much. You might be aware, if you're studied up on your history, that at least a few centuries ago, I want to say 700 or so, that there was this odd thing. About 850 years ago, there was the decision by the royal family and the Sheikah to decommission a bunch of Guardian technology that was profoundly vulnerable to attack by corruptive forces. Yeah.
Do I know that? Should I roll?
You're free to roll society to remember that bit of history.
I
But
have Lol Sheikah.
okay, that works too.
22.
22. Yeah. You are aware that 850 years ago there was an event called the Shutdown. Due to danger presented by ancient machinery, the decision was made by the royal family and the Sheikah elders to find and dismantle any remaining guardians and safeguard the divine beasts that were once used by the champions of the great races. In essence, that accommodated for basically things like Sheikah tech just no longer being around.
Yeah.
However, Infaustum continues and says that accommodated for that, but there was also a lot of other things that were mentioned in the stories. Most notably, and he points upward, says, despite there being a story about it, you notice that there ain't any Sky Islands anymore.
Yeah.
Now that's comparatively recent history. Which begs the question, either are the record keeping of Hyrule is so terrible that we can't even remember what happened in the past 1,000 years, or something that none of us can remember happened and got rid of it all.
At the talk of Sky Islands and memory loss, is it possible for me to make some sort of like will save against myself? Or an attempt to recall?
If you want to, I won't stop you.
In which case,
Two.
that is a 22.
Okay.
As all of this is for Leisha, there is like a thing always when it comes to like memory loss that there's like, oh well, that feels or that sounds familiar. But But I think at a 22, would there be like, oh, Sky Islands? Is there a connection to the opposite for Alicia, the depths?
There may be, yeah.
Because what? Maybe this is something for outside of game, but what do people think of the depths compared to like the Sky Islands, which are no longer there?
People would be aware that there is extensive like caverns and stuff that run underneath Hyrule, but there's not to the same capacity as like the depths. The depths. This is usually something that is talked about very, very rarely. Possibly that any and all possible entrances that could lead to such a subterranean world have been lost if they ever existed at all, sort of thing. Faustum then says, now, going back to the dilemma that you've got yourselves here, for the most part, as said, moving back and forth between the time stream now, I assume, is going to be highly monitored if the goddess herself has stepped in order to stop it. So chances are, even if you do manage to uncover the secrets of time travel, you wouldn't be able to do anything that would escape the notice, and she would do something about it. At least I think so. It's why no one really... It's why most folk who say that they're from some kind of different time period are usually charlatans.
Yeah.
However, and he looks back to the rod, that would be a lot easier to do if you had something that kept you hidden from the eyes of even the divine. Now, no mortal alive is able to craft a spell that could hide you good enough from the eyes of a god, but could do it if you put it through the right focus, such as this piece of Imperium right here.
That's what the metal is. I wonder, it looks weird.
Imperium?
Imperium. Material that has been essentially the exclusive domain of those that dwell in the planes above.
Holy metal.
Well,
It
must fetch a pretty penny then.
If you could find some.
Well, we found some.
We are not selling this.
Yeah.
And that Makoto says that in the most deadly serious tone you have ever heard that from him.
Well, guess we don't live in a democracy.
So I'm gonna have to
No, like whoever would buy this would not be able to be trusted with it.
that, and well, he kind of like shrugs a bit and says, think about it this way. At least for the most part, as far as I can tell through more quietly spoken circles of magic users, materials like Empyrean or Abyssite, they are more coveted than things like adamantine, mithril, things that magic users would go out of their way with both blade and coin to acquire. Trying to sell this immediately puts a target on your back, and people with a lot more resources and a lot more power than you might be more inclined to simply take it rather than pay for it. The value of it is quite big, and I would say possibly that if you were going to you should at the very least try and offload it, but not by selling it to anybody.
We're gonna probably hand it to the Archmage.
Well, I suppose so. Really, is that much
I
trouble?
do look at everyone else to see if they're in agreement with that.
As
I
you
wanted to
look at
keep it,
Leisha, you
but
go ahead.
probably a bit
From
dangerous.
Leisha, you don't see like a disagreement. Probably more of a realization of like, it's that much trouble.
Yeah. Like, I don't even feel comfortable carrying this back to Yotada.
Mm. Like, wisdom isn't Leisha's worst stat, but it's not their best either.
Yeah.
The best wisdom in the party is +2. We're fine.
No. Oh no.
But no. Onda's just kind of like, I mean, the fucking magic stick. Okay. Look, worst comes to worst, if we're giving it to somebody, they might give us like in more of a position of authority. They might give us a reward or a favor or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, there's usually a
And-
general bounty for magic artifacts that goes up the better they are.
But in Faustum, is there any particular reason, as you're a person who's got way more experience with these things than we do, why you would think that a time traveler would come back and try to sabotage like a specific mage's work, specifically about
The work they were
planar things?
sabotaging, yeah, was someone trying to use magic to contact other planes.
Well, in most instances, the motivation to go back or forward in time is to either stop or start something. From the sounds of it, if they're going back in order to sabotage one mage's work, then they're aiming to stop him. Question would be then, why?
So, this artifact has the power to shield someone to an extent, we don't know, from the forces of a god.
Essentially, it is a series of high-level non-detection spells that are being empowered by the nature of Imperium itself. It would mean that essentially anyone except for Chronica herself would be incapable of perceiving the one who held it. And if you found it and they've had it, and then this caused this unfortunate situation, then that ultimately tells me that well, maybe Chronica is not omniscient, or at least isn't paying attention 100% of the time.
Makoto puts it together and says the wind must have disarmed them.
If it was a time traveler carrying this, and then now there was a different guy who was our thief, was the different guy at fault?
Or maybe they were working together.
Moral quandary. So, chances are
We did suspect that there were two people.
If there is, well, not necessarily. Yes and no is the answer to your question. Yes, in the sense that in this iteration of time, they are responsible. If my current theory is about how Chronica or her underlings deals with rogue time travelers is accurate. If the original time traveler had that rod and then lost it, then chances are, if your memory is acting a bit hazy, then that means that something has done something in order to rectify the time stream in a sense. They've probably deleted the original time traveler from all of existence, and then time has had to reconfigure itself in order to allow the current events to make as much sense as possible. So in this iteration, the fella who's probably been the one to do all this work in order to and it has been caught and arrested as the thief is actually the thief. They are probably very guilty in terms of this current existence. However, they are not the thief, in that they are not the original perpetrator and they are not the original wielder of that rod. There's
Are
a
they the younger version?
Possibly.
I think it's more like an elaborate frame job, is kind of like how I'm sitting there putting it, but with something that can just say, actually, this person did it the whole time.
Well, that seems
Just
like
it's just the person who's
very screwed up justice.
But also, like, in this timeline, he did actually do it,
Yeah.
so we can't
It's
just...
just it made it the most
Oh,
likely
God.
person to accept for that.
Yes.
There's actually kind of a point where like a blood is kind of dripping out of Anda's nose. He's like, oh, sorry.
Ricardo looking at her like, I didn't know you bleeded blood.
Well, we're living creatures. All living creatures bleed.
yeah.
I
But
didn't know it was red.
for the most part, if you're as said, a time travel hidden forward doesn't trigger anything because they are essentially making their future their new present. They just can't come back. Assumedly, then your options are either they could be that version of the actual thief from in the future. Maybe they're coming back in order to try again at a task that they've failed, or it's an entirely new person who, now that there is more than one of them in the same time zone, so to speak, that the original is fine. They've been untouched because they haven't attempted to go back in time yet. And whoever has been apprehended as your thief just happened to be the most likely candidate, as you say, when everything lines up and it makes the most sense, so to speak.
And
So
we'll
their actions
never-
in the
we'll-
past would have been made to be actually guilty of the crime, as it were.
And we'll never be able to answer that without the original guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose we need to pay a visit to the Temple of Chronica.
Possibly.
He shrugs and says, well, however you proceed is up to you. Just remember that, well, all of this is very difficult to prove. It is all theoretical entirely and will forever be theoretical, even when you get to a satisfying answer. It's the best answer you've got, especially if you're walking around with that. Gesture to the rod on the table. Speaking of, whatever you decide to do with it, I'd rather not keep it in my tower. So
Yeah, that's fair.
Melody will
Don't
take it
worry,
back.
we'll be bringing that with us.
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you for
Yes.
giving me something interesting to talk about.
Very informative.
Alicia kind of looks at the others with a look of, this was easier than advertised.
We
Yeah,
had a
brought an
very
interesting
interesting
puzzle.
problem. Yeah. Yeah. Like, well,
And we
should
didn't waste
probably...
his time with weirdness.
Well, it was weird, but in a good way.
Hmm.
We should.
The weirdness was the point.
We should let you get back to your day.
I got a lot of work to do.
What are you currently working on, if I may ask?
Well, that would be my business.
Fair enough.
If we're in the area and we have any more interesting things similar to this, would you be opposed to us knocking on your door?
If they're as interesting as what you just brought me today, then sure.
Alrighty, thank you very
No
much.
promises.
Somehow find another chunk of Imperium that does magic bullshit? Sure, okay.
Or worse, abyssite.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Vostum,
Hmm.
would I be able to talk with you privately for just a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Lon will get up and just start moving out.
I'll get the horses ready.
There's a look of curiosity from Leisha, but they too will leave.
Melody will watch to make sure Renji leaves with you.
You do not see Renji. Because Renji is hidden in my shawl.
Oh well. When the others leave, Melody will take out some notes about her current condition, handing them over to him, saying, "Do you recognize any of this?"
He'll peruse over it a little bit. Hmm. Well, if it's what I think it is, then that's all too old. Where do do the notes include like where it was discovered and things like that?
Yeah, they're good notes. Got a little picture of what it looked like, and
Well, if there is any region of the continent that'll have it, I wouldn't put it past Elden having it. Mostly because, well, you hand the notes back. There's a volcanic regions when it comes to this sort of thing are they are ever changing, but they do have a habit of burying a lot of things. I mean, they've buried at least one ancient destructive dragon that could burn the entire continent. Wouldn't be surprised if
Hell
something
yeah, we did.
uh, wouldn't be surprised if something like this ever came up. You're looking for a way to combat it, though. That unfortunately eludes me.
I mean, any information will help since you seem to recognize it.
Well, as far as I can tell, you're more or less looking to. You're either looking for one magical source that's capable of essentially changing aspects of fate and composition, something on the realms of either a great fairy or one of the dragon spirits, but they haven't been seen for 1,000 years. Neither of the fairies, truth be told, though the fairies are a bit more, I suppose, inverted quotes, easier to come by. Anything that could potentially be something akin to a wish would undo it. But as for treatment, well, tell you what, I've got a lot of books that I need to go through. And this is an interesting conundrum. I'm thinking maybe this sort of crystalline sort of disease almost you're looking for something that could combat it either directly with the same sort of capability, essentially infecting yourself with something different at the same level so it balances out, or you're looking for something else.
Well, you know, I have very simple desires to not die.
Oh, of course. Who doesn't? Tell you what, I'll get to writing this thing. I've heard one of your friends say something about Utana. I could always send something there if there's time.
Oh yeah, or if you want to have a further discussion about it, I'm sure you can speak with either of my parents. They've got their information on it. My dad's organising a trip over to Eldon as well, so
Well, I'll send something to university then. It'll give him something to start work on as well. Of course, you'll get yourself a copy, but it might take a bit of time.
yeah, well, I welcome any aid you can give.
Of course.
Do you want anything for it?
Depends. If it's an interesting enough conundrum, then you won't have to pay. But if I find that it's easy enough to handle or isn't exactly enthralling, then I'll ask for payment and then send the notes. But we'll figure something out.
Yeah, seems fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what it was in the first place, or is that part of the investigation?
That's probably part of the investigation. It could be a lot of things, actually. Could be an aspect of the Goma, could be some other thing that had once robbed Eldin of all of its heat. Could be a lot. Our history is vast and ever-changing and full of terrible, terrible things that have either been rightly set to the blade by certain green-garbed heroes, or perhaps something else entirely. But for now, I have to get to work.
Okay. Thank you for your time, then.
Very well.
And she'll get up to go.
As you are the last person to leave, the door closes behind you, and there is another series of as locks and things put in front of the door are put.
You see Lisha kind of turning their head back to you as you leave the tower. It's like, didn't peg you for the wizardly type?
My parents are literally professors at the University of Wizardry and stuff.
Yes, so?
Okay.
Did you get anything useful for whatever you're asking?
Hopefully.
Good. Get in the car.
Okay.
Oh dear. So it is that you find your way, or you make your way back to Hyrule Castle Town, just before the sun begins to set. And I think, given that we're out of time, we will end this. It will end the game there for now, or the session. Game's still going on for a very long time. But thank you everybody for watching / listening. I have been Articulate T, the storyteller of this Hyrule Chronicles for a Few Rupees More campaign. With me, as always, I have had Crest Nether playing Lisha.
Yes, me. I'm just doing stuff.
Yeah. I have had Alvarance playing Anda.
End the game? Oh no, it's a load-bearing time traveler. Fuck!
I've had Robo Pirate playing Melody.
Well, we can always come up with a new game for next time.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny Cat playing Makoto.
I'll just play Makoto again. It's fine.
Also,
I wanted to play a kineticist for so long.
It's a cool class.
I hope I should have sufficient internet, but see how it goes for next time.
Okay.
Ooh.
No worries. Well, we will see y'all next time, whenever that may be. Bye.
Goodbye.